let me put it this way, the political relations between Spain and the Philippines are strong, and as a matter of fact, they are even being reinforced. So that is moving, and the relations are not only limited to the political side, but including the cultural, the educational, the sports, all of these factors, all of these sectors are increasing and increasing. And that's part of what we are doing here in Madrid, reinforcing, increasing, raising the bilateral relations with Spain. Let's subdivide that into several sectors. Let's take, for instance, let's take the political side, where we have very strong relations, as I said, and where it is being strengthened. We have bilateral agreements with Spain politically that are for the benefit of the country. In defense, for instance, we are working on an agreement for cooperation between the two countries on transnational crime. That is in the works and to be signed, hopefully, in the very near future. In terms of education, we have also agreements with Spain for the strengthening of, for instance, relations whereby Filipinos can come to Spain to be able to do an interchange of students and professors between Spain and the Philippines. Still in education, Spanish. You know that very unfortunately we have lost the Spanish language in the Philippines. It's no longer taught in schools, but that is now being reinstituted again. And you know, under the K7, this is being reintroduced slowly into the schools, into high schools, and as they progress into college, that's also there. Spain also has programs for scholarships for Filipinos to come here and do their master's degree in Spanish. So on the overall, we are working very closely with Spain on education. Likewise now, if we talk of sports, again, we have agreements with Spain concerning sports, and we are now working, and very soon, we hope to be able to have a MOU between a private sector and a company in Spain for the introduction and development of a sustainable football project in the Philippines that will hopefully culminate in a football sports college. So this is where culturally, my gosh, culturally we have had so many events already here in Spain. For instance, we have had the Patis Tesoro fashion show here, which was a great hit. You know, Patis Tesoro has all these beautiful piña outfits. We had the fashion show at the Intercontinental Hotel, where we had like 350 guests from the government, diplomats, business, and they were just completely awed at what the Philippines can do as far as this fabric is concerned. We've also had the privilege of having choirs like UST choir, Madrigal singers. We had the UST choir, UST UP chorus. So we have had that here. And just last week, we had the Gilas playing in Sevilla. You know, we were extremely elated. As I said in one of the interviews in Sevilla, we might have lost in the scoreboard, but we won as far as the way our Filipino players played. Because this is the first time that they're back in this league after about 42 years. And the way they played with the passion, you know, with the desire to win. And we lost, but we only lost by 2, 3, or 4 points. And in one of them, in overtime. So that shows, you know, the capacity of the Filipino players in sports is still playing against seasoned teams, teams with high ranking, but the Philippines did it, you know. As far as I'm concerned, we might, as I said, have lost in the scoreboard, but we won. We won in a different form. And, you know, overall, you see, part of our task here is, of course, as the mandate of the president, is that attention to the Filipinos in Spain. That is number one. Attention to nationals. It is called ATN. To give the service, to help the Filipinos, to protect the Filipinos. That is number one. Number two is develop economic diplomacy, which we're also doing and which we can discuss a little later. And thirdly is the promotion of cultural activities. You see, that's what we're trying to do is, raise the bar. The Philippines now is a very recognized country in terms of economic growth. As we are enjoying a growth of 7%, we are in the map. Whereas before we were thought many years ago that we were the sick country of Asia. Today, we are not only the tiger of Asia, but we are the miracle of Asia. So that growth, and it's continuing. And let me tell you this. And even Spain and the Philippines, you asked earlier about bilaterals. When I came here almost 4 years ago, there were a handful of Spanish companies in the Philippines. Of course, I can agree that the Philippines and Spain there's too much distance in between. At the same time, Spain was focused on Europe and on Latin America. But now they realize that Asia is a whole area to reckon with. And especially since the Philippines will have this ASEAN integration at the end of next year. So it is an opportunity. And as we tell the Spanish, when you go to the Philippines to invest, don't think of the Philippines as a country of 98 million people. Think of the Philippines as the base, as the window to Southeast Asia. That is so important. As a matter of fact, let me tell you this. In July of 2011, that's the year I arrived here, we worked with Congress of Deputies here that, we have the Spanish Friendship Filipino law. That was a law authored by Senator Angara then. We have that, and we're the country that has that as part of the previous colonies. So we worked with the Congress of Deputies, and the Congress of Deputies approved an institutional declaration in favor of the Philippines, giving recognition to this law that we have, and that it is the wish of Spain that the Philippines would be their window to Southeast Asia, and conversely, that Spain would be the gateway for the Philippines to Latin America. That is a document, an official document by the Congress of Deputies of Spain, and I can give you very well a copy so you can, even get more excerpts or more quotes from there. We are so happy, we're so elated about the visit of the President. First of all, it is his first visit to Spain. Secondly, it is his first destination for subsequent countries. So that we are very privileged and honored that he's going to come here. The highlights of it, of course, is going to be having an encounter with the King, His Majesty the King, King Felipe VI, and also having a session with President Rajoy on Monday. Those are the two major things. But let us not discount the fact that on Sunday, just a few hours after he arrives, we are going to have a session with the Filipino community not only in Madrid. We have also invited Filipinos from other provinces and cities in Madrid. So we expect to have about 600 to 700 Filipinos that will be there, that have long awaited for the arrival of the president to Spain. And then, of course, he is also going to have several meetings with Spanish businessmen. That's actually going to happen on Sunday. And after that, he's actually going to have 7 meetings with Spanish businessmen. And then there's going to be a reception with Spanish businessmen and Filipino businessmen so that they can network and eventually culminate in having some kind of business ventures. But also, you were asking earlier about the Filipinos. Let me tell you one thing. 1 week after the president leaves, on June 2021, for the first time ever in Spain, we will have a Congress of all the Filipino association leaders. We are bringing in leaders of associations of Barcelona, Cadiz, Sevilla, Bilbao, Valencia to Spain. And of course, together with our leaders of the Filipino community in Madrid. First of all, you must say, what's the purpose of the Congress? Purpose of the Congress is, it's been many years, many of the Filipinos are here, is to update them. For instance, on matters concerning social security in the Philippines, pag-ibig, PhilHealth. And at the same time, we are inviting personalities from Spain to speak about any changes on Spanish labor laws, immigration, labor. You know, there's a economic recession or crisis going on in Spain, and therefore the employment of Filipinos is somehow stagnant. And on that point, we want to appraise the Filipinos. How is it going? How does it look like? And what opportunities they might have for the future. We have about 44,000 Filipinos in Spain. Many of them are already residents and or nationals. About 12,000, 15,000 are in Barcelona, 15,000 are in Madrid. Maybe another 5,000 are in the coastal areas. And these Filipinos, many of them have been here 20, 25 years, 30 years. And they came here, they're residents, they're nationals, and they are really already here. But they're dual nationalities. And what is important and what we're working on is that the second generation of Filipinos in Spain, you know, would have the opportunity to have a good education so they could also be working in different sectors. And just to show you how firm the relationship is between Spain and the Philippines, between the Filipino working here and the Spanish employers. Many Spanish employers are even giving scholarships to the children of these Filipinos that have been working for them for many, many years. So that raises, again, the bar to give more opportunity to the Filipinos. Spain, prior to the crisis, let's say, had assistance to many countries, not only the Philippines, and in large amounts. But because of the crisis and on a rationalization, they have reduced the number of countries who would be recipients of this assistance, and at the same time, they have reduced the amounts. But the Philippines, a very important friend of Spain, continues to be the #1 recipient of assistance in terms of many different projects. In 2012, Her Majesty Queen Sofia went to the Philippines, you know that, to look at the different projects that Spain has in the Philippines. She was completely elated, you know, especially at the children and what she saw. And, you know, she has a strong love for the Philippines. In March of this year, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Margallo, visited the Philippines to be able to view the effects of the disastrous typhoon we had, Yolanda, in the Philippines. So we were together, we went to Tacloban, we went to Tolosa to really witness what really happened there. And it was really sad. You know, what you see on TV, on CNN, and what you see in reality sometimes are two different things. And again, Spain is speaking of relationship and affinity. 3 days after Yolanda struck, I was at the air base here together with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, seeing the first flight that was going to leave for the Philippines with medicines, with supplies, with everything, including Her Majesty had 300,000 euros worth of medicines that her foundation was donating to the Philippines. That was the first plane, and there was a second plane and a third plane. You know, the Philippines received aid and assistance from all countries in the world in different forms. Spain was there too. But I tell you how the Spanish feel towards the Philippines. In this office, we used to receive letters from Spanish that we didn't know at all. And when we opened the letter, you know, the letter says, you know, I'm Spanish, you know, I'm very sad about what happened, sympathies and condolences. And then he says, I am not a rich man, but I would like to help. And there was in the envelope 20 euros, 30 euros, and that demonstrates, you know, how the Spanish people feel about the Philippines, the closeness. To me, I value that so much, you know, because that's the, let's call it an ordinary Spanish. We don't know, they don't know us, but they felt all that sympathy for the Philippines. Well, as I said, there are 44,000 Filipinos. Let's call it 45,000, it's easier. And many of them have already had the opportunity of either putting up a small restaurant here, or a beauty parlor there, or food products, catering. But as I said, this is the first generation. But what we're looking at is that we should really mold the second generation into, through education, you know, education is primary, everybody has to have that. That through education, they are going to advance to another possible sector that is going to improve their lives. The Filipinos come here. They sacrifice. Why do they come here? Sacrifice to have a better economic package in order to upgrade and uplift the quality of life of their siblings, their family in the Philippines. That is a big sacrifice. I meet the Filipinos here. Mostly they are wives, their mothers. And of course, you know, their children are there and all that. It's a big sacrifice. They don't go until after 2 years. But they're doing that because they love their families. And I'm sure if they had the opportunities in the Philippines, they would rather be there. But because of economic concerns, they are here. And that to me is very important, this sacrifice that they're doing in order to upgrade and uplift the quality of life that they have in the Philippines. But the Filipinos here, let me say, are very happy here. They're very happy working with and for the Spanish. And conversely, the Spanish employers are extremely happy employing the Filipinos. Because the Filipino, you know, we have that charisma. You know, as the saying goes, we are a poor country, but we are not short of a smile. And that makes a lot of difference. You remember what Anderson Cooper said during Yolanda when he was in the Philippines. The Filipinos have the right to be angry. The Filipinos have the right to feel helpless. But they still have a smile. That is a quality of the Philippines, a value. You know, as I said, I've been here almost 4 years. In those 4 years, I have not had a case where a Filipina comes running here, seeking for assistance, looking for a safe house because of poor relations with their employers. I've not had that. They're happy. I would say they're very happy. And the Spanish are equally happy. As I said, I'm here almost 4 years. And I remember what President Aquino said in his July State of the Nation message, where he said, it is worth living and serving the Filipino. Not everybody is able to be an ambassador. And I feel very privileged and honored to be here and to serve my country. And the message I give to everybody is, Spain has a 377-year relationship with the Philippines. We are all somehow having relatives, friends. All our names are almost Spanish names. We have many things in common. Food, you know, we have many words, Spanish words in our vocabulary language. Spain is a great partner of the Philippines. We are now looking at Spain, we are talking to them as equals and with a common objective. So the message to all the Filipinos wherever they are is, whatever they do it with passion. Because passion is what will get you to your objective. Whether you are doing this, or that, you need passion to really feel and like and do it properly. For the President, I would like to say, thank you very much, Mr. President, for honoring us, your visiting Spain, and we look forward that your visit in Spain is going to be very productive, and I'm sure it is going to be very good for the country. And we thank you, Mr. President, for everything you're doing for the country, for all the sacrifice you're also doing, for all the innovations, the changes, all in order to improve the Philippines and the quality of life of the Filipinos.